Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
What's going on, guys? It's Tom here from The Razor's Edge, and I'm here with Jay of Vexed. How are you, sir? Are you well?
I'm well. I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, man. Not too bad. It's early evening. Like the weather's killing me. Being a ginger, it just destroys me every time. Like as soon as it gets hot, I like melt.
Mate, I'm loving it. Like I'm one of them people where as soon as the sun's out, my mood is just amazing, no matter what's going on in my life.
No, fair. No, it's good. I think it brings out the good in a lot of people because winter, everyone's always like, shit in it. It's miserable. Fucking hate it. You know?
Yeah, I'm like that. Though. I'm exactly like that. I feel like winter, once you get Christmas out of the way, it's just waiting for summer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Festival season, where is it? Come on.
Literally, man.
Um, how how was your pandemic season? Obviously, I know it's not really much of a thing anymore, but how have the last few years been for yourself and for the band?
Um, they've been weird because obviously, like the pandemic fucked everyone up a little bit, but we feel like we haven't quite recovered from it. Obviously, we had a huge tour booked in the pandemic. We were meant to be touring with Whitechapel. We were watching everything getting postponed, being like, yeah, that'll get postponed, but whatever, it happens. And then it got cancelled. Um, haven't really recovered from it show wise. I mean, we haven't been as busy as we expected to be. We kind of thought, once restrictions are lifted and stuff, that we'll get going again and we'll be on the road way more. But yeah, it's still quiet for us, man. Quieter than I would like it to be. But
So Whitechapel not revitalizing that tour like now just to do it anyway?
no, well, I think they still toured us. I think they still might have done a UK run or so, but with
Ah,
other
sorry,
stuff.
sorry.
It don't matter. It's all good. It's all good. Like is what it is, isn't it? But at the moment, yeah, we're just hoping for more dates to come through. Obviously, it's a quiet year for us at the moment. But hopefully, I feel like we've pretty much missed the boat for festival season. But hopefully, this time next year, our diaries will be pretty packed.
Yeah, mate. And we will get to it when this album drops. I think that's going to change the course of everything for you guys from a
I
personal
hope so.
standpoint.
I hope so.
I think a lot of people are in for an absolute treat when this comes out.
I definitely like I loved our first album, we all did, but this time round, it feels like I'm more excited about the release than I was the first time round. And I'm it's hard to describe. I feel like the sound we've achieved with this album is more true to us, whereas with the first one we were quite heavy on the experimentation, and we were trying to find like the sound that we wanted to achieve. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like we've done a better job with that this time round.
Yeah, I think you've always got to feel your way around, haven't you? You've got to find the vexed sound. You can't just be like, "Here's the first album, boom, it's a Be like, wait, what?" Like, so I think you got to you try and test it and be like, "Oh, did people react to that? Did they not? Like, what can we do differently?" And then you've brought this album coming out in the end of June. It's just like, fucking hell, they're here.
I think it's easier like once you've got the first album out, because then you can reflect on that and you can be like, okay, what about this album? What do we like? What aspects do we want to keep? What do we wish we maybe didn't do? What do we wish we'd done more of? Um, so I think like I wouldn't say it made it easier writing album two, but it definitely made it I guess easier to visualize. I'll put it that way. Writing it was still a pain in the ass, but it was easier to visualize what we wanted to achieve. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll go all the way back first, and then we'll get to the brand new album. So, what actually made you want to be a musician in the first place? What made you pick up a guitar?
My dad plays like every instrument known to mankind. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah, he's to playing bands and stuff. And I went through this. I feel like everyone's gone through a similar phase. Maybe I went through this like massive Eminem phase, and I was just into like loads of rap and stuff. And this was when I was like, I don't know, 11, 12 or something like that. So I didn't really listen to anything guitar based at all. But then my dad, being a musician, bought me a guitar. Um, and initially, yeah, like I was a little bit like, what am I gonna do with this? Do you know what I mean? But then, I didn't touch it for like maybe 2 years, year and a half, and then I discovered like bands like Muse and stuff, which is that they were kind of like my entry level into guitar playing. So then I got into a few of their songs, and I was like, yeah, it'd be cool to actually be able to do what they're doing, and then it just kind of escalated. Like I'm not quite sure how I ended up in a metal band playing 8 string guitars, because I was brought up on a lot of jazz and a lot of blues and stuff. But that's pretty much how it happened. Like it was just super gradual, and it just went from playing in bands, playing little shows just for fun and stuff, and then suddenly 12 years down the line, here I am with you.
That's man. I mean, those early Eminem albums are unbelievable.
Oh, they're
Like,
amazing.
dude, that man is so talented. It's insane. And I mean, he still is now. Like, he never seems to put a bad record out, I don't think, anyway. I think it's always good to have that eclectic taste as well, like you say, because obviously you play in a metal band, but you're brought up on jazz and blues, because you can also bring those sorts of things into it at the same time. And obviously, metal's great. We all love it, but like, I can't listen to it all day. It drives me insane.
No, I don't get I mean, I'm not judging, but people that wake up and then on their way to work at like 7:30 in the morning, they're blasting death metal. I've never understood it personally. But this is the thing. Like when I've said before, like we take influence from like jazz and blues and even like some classical and stuff. A lot of the new album was inspired by little grime tracks. People are always kind of confused as to like how are you taking influence from very different genres? But like what people don't understand is like it's not necessarily that you're hearing something and you're going, yeah, I want to do something exactly like that. It's more like, okay, what about this is having an effect on me? How can I replicate that and implicate it into what we're doing? You know what I mean? And especially like
Yeah.
I said with um especially if you dive into like old school grime and like the kind of like underground stuff, like rhythmically it's really impressive. So like when it comes to patterns and stuff, a lot of our patterns are influenced by like grime tracks and stuff. And if
That's,
you've if you've seen one of our live shows, you'll see our interludes are quite trappy and stuff as well. So we like to bring that side of it across to the live show as well.
dude, that's so clever. That's insanely clever. Well, that's blowing my mind. I'm not going to lie.
But you can find influence anywhere, man. Like inspiration can come from anywhere. And I think a lot of people tend to kind of think they'll hear a band do a cool riff and their idea of taking inspiration is to almost kind of replicate it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where instead you should be analyzing it and going, okay, what about it is having an effect? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think anyone really delves that deeply unless it's another musician. I don't tend to go and go, well, I wonder. I obviously just think, oh, it's playing a guitar. Obviously, someone else will play something similar on guitar again. I never think, oh, that's obviously come from a grime track that's done by so and so. Oh, no one's really heard of them though. They're just very underground, but rhythmically, it's incredible.
I
Um,
think it's important to listen to multiple different genres as a
I
musician.
agree. I
That's how you
absolutely agree.
your sound.
Yeah,
And
no,
in a
absolutely,
band,
man.
if you got 4 or 5 people in a band, they're all listening to different genres of music and bringing in certain elements of them genres. Do you know what I mean? You can end up with a really interesting sound.
100%, dude. I love it. Absolutely incredible. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it again now just to see if I can pick anything out. So other than obviously the underground grime thing, has there been any other influences anywhere else?
Um, I mean, there's the obvious ones. If we wanna think about metal influences, you can probably tell we're big like Meshuggah fans. Um, there's so many like throughout the years. Parkway Drive, Killswitch Engage from my early years. That's like Veil of Maya, Periphery. I went for a massive Periphery phase, and I think all of them little phases of listening to different bands, I think they all do something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's just to help refine your playing, even if it's not doing anything for the writing. Like I don't think I'd be able to. I say I'm quite a strong down picker, but I don't think I would have been able to do that if it wasn't for learning like Killswitch Engage songs and stuff growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love Parkway Drive. Are you seeing them on Sunday?
I will be. It will be my fourth time seeing them, and what's crazy is every time I've seen them, their production level has just stepped up massively.
Yeah, they're gonna. I think they're gonna blow the roof off. They're second to last, aren't they? So I think before Slipknots. That's. I mean, just the Sunday alone is. I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna get. I'm just getting jealouser and jealous the more I speak. So, um, where does the actual band name Vexed come from?
Uh, I mean, it's a hard one to answer. It's a perfect question for Meg, even though I'm sure she's so sick of answering it.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably.
the name is kind of the whole idea was with Vex was kind of, and especially with the new album, the whole idea was taking negative emotions and anger and stuff, and then venting it through music without sounding all like philosophical and stuff like that. But we just wanted to, we used to play in like kind of a proggy band back in the day, and we just wanted to write something really heavy and really fun to play. So it was like, yeah, let's just write some proper angry shit. And the name Vex just, I mean, it just works for what we're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Just
I
angry
mean,
music. So
I love
yeah,
asking the question because I know it gets asked a lot, but I'm always intrigued as to what were the names before that came. Because I'm always wondering, because obviously every name's been taken under the sun now. I think pretty much with like, you've got the beauty of Spotify, be able to go through and find out who's got what. But like,
yeah.
what names did you have previous to Vexed?
So like way back in the day, like going back, some people will know this. Me, Meg, and Willem, we played in a band called Vendetta.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it much. It was a long time ago. But that's how the three of us started playing music together. Was
Okay.
Vendetta. Yeah, and then it wasn't a lot of people kind of thought it was a rebrand. It really wasn't a rebrand. We just kind of got bored of it, you know.
No, I suppose obviously you're just growing and developing, aren't you? So I'm sure there's loads of bands out there didn't start. But I bet Foo Fighters didn't start with Foo Fighters. They probably start with something else, and then
Yeah.
obviously everyone grows and develops and hones their craft and becomes whoever they become. So, apologies, I didn't know you didn't like to talk about it very much, so I didn't.
Oh no, no worries, man. No worries. It's funny. It's nice to like dive into the past a little bit, you know.
Oh, I'm always intrigued. I always love to know like the intricacies of how it all became to be this. Do you know what I mean? It's great. I'm looking forward to my new album. I'm always I just like to know backstories and like get to really know somebody properly and that sort of thing first.
Yeah, yeah.
So there we are. Obviously this is probably more a Meg question, but I'll still ask it anyway. Lyrics wise, do you get involved at all?
No, not really. Like we have if there are certain themes that the rest of us kind of wanna put into the album, then we'll bring them up. And Meg will often run themes by us and stuff like that. And song names, we all sit down and discuss. But lyrically and theme wise, it's majority Meg, really.
Okay, so they quite personal. I take it the lyrics, and they're
Yeah,
not right story. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, she writes about stuff really close to her heart and stuff she's really passionate about. Which I think it helps with the deliverance of the actual vocal, if that makes sense.
Yes.
If there's genuine passion behind what she's saying, I think it can help. Because you can hear that a lot of the time. And there's a song on the album called "It's Not the End," and you can properly hear that that's come straight from the heart for Meg, and I think
Yeah.
that's that makes it powerful.
No, absolutely. Her vocal is insane, by the way. But like, to hear someone scream like that is just, I don't know. I just couldn't stop listening. Basically, I was just so like, this is unbelievable. Like, I was just drawn in the entire time. I've listened to it quite a few times through, and every time I'm just like, oh, this track's great. This track's also great. There's not one I've gone, oh, it's all right. That one's not as good as this one. It's like every single track on that album brings something different to the party. It's like you just want to keep hearing what's next. Oh, God, what's coming up next? This is incredible. Um, how does a Vexed song actually come together then? How is it? I take it, is it all music based first? Or does Meg bring like, oh, this is an idea I've got for this? Have you got any riffs that could like go with this?
So the majority of the time, I'll come to them with riffs. Normally like one riff, like the main riff, and a lot of the time, I mean, yeah, a lot of the time they kind of just come from that first section. So whether it's me, demoing down a riff and be like, right, I hear this there and I hear this, and it kind of writes itself. Or I'll have a riff, I won't know what to do with it, so we'll all sit down and we'll brainstorm. But there have been times in the past where Willem's come up with drum stuff and we've written to that. There's a song on the new album called Extremist, and there's a song on our first album, Cunning Culture, that's called Narcissist. Both of them were written to vocal, which is a really interesting approach. So Meg will have a vocal, like the rhythm and lyrics and stuff, and she'll record that roughly, and then we'll write around that, which is always fun, to be honest. Because coming up with that initial idea is always like the biggest pain in the arse. So when she brings something to us, the initial idea is already there. It's like, great, smash some guitar over this.
Yeah. Extremist is one of the songs I absolutely love. It really gave me Static X vibes. Like that. Yeah, just straight away, just from vocally as well as musically, I was just like, fucking hell, yeah. I was definitely one of my top songs on the album. That one.
It's definitely the name that it's the song that the name is the most spot on for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the most intense track we've ever done. It's kind of relentless.
It's great.
I think it's called Extremist because it's as it's pretty harsh on the ear.
It's hefty. It's got some heft to it. It's great. Just pure hench song.
It's gonna be fun live, definitely.
Oh, I can't wait. I need to get when you go touring. I can't get my words out. Sorry. When you go touring next, then I'm definitely down. I just want that. I just want all of that in my face. Just the entirety of the whole night. We've mentioned it a couple of times, so we might as well talk about it properly, eh? Your brand new album, Negative Energy, is out on June 23rd. Are you excited for the release?
I'm very excited for the release. Very excited. We started writing this in 2021.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there are riffs and sections on the album that I mean, guitar wise anyway, that I wrote before our first album was out. And then obviously lockdown came along and it was like, okay, what else do you do? Okay, I'll write some riffs and stuff. But it's weird. We had like half the album written, right? And it wasn't sounding right. So we literally just started from scratch.
Really?
So yeah, I know it sounds so chaotic. We took a few riffs and stuff, and then the rest we just binned it off, and we just chopped and changed stuff. So oh yeah, we'll take that pattern, we'll put it with that riff, see if that works. But then a lot of stuff got deleted, and there's a laptop full of old riffs that were just like it's not sounding right.
Is it not something you want to go back to in the future? Maybe.
I mean, potentially they're kind of like we call them back burner riffs. Riffs
Okay.
like they're not really like they're not making the cut at this moment in time, but we might be able to find a place for them. Do you know what I mean? Because what we did, we scrapped all of the demos that we had done. But
Yeah.
any sections that were kind of cool, I just chucked them all in a Reaper project. So it's just a bunch of like random guitar riffs and stuff. And when we were writing, whenever we come across a section that was empty, we didn't know what to do. It was like, okay, let's go through all of these bits from the past, see if any of them work. Different BPMs and stuff. And we're kind of just there at our disposal. But yeah, the majority we started from scratch, to be honest.
Was that not heartbreaking? Just being like, oh, or was it just because you're like, no, it's just not working. I'm happy. Let's just crack on and get on with it and start again.
No, it actually took some stress away in a weird way because on one hand it's like, oh, we've been writing this for like 5 months, so now we're just going to bin it off. But then on the other hand, it's like, okay, now we don't have to finish all of this shit that we're not happy with, because we had a bunch of songs that they either weren't finished or they were finished but they weren't sounding right, and it's so stressful. Like, okay, you need to finish this, you need to finish this track, you need to change this track so that you like it and so that it sounds good. So it was just so much easier and so much more refreshing to just have a clean slate and just go, okay, now we know what we don't want to do, so let's just start again, just build it back up.
Well, again, in my opinion, it's definitely paid off. So I think, and hopefully when that comes out on the 23rd, everyone else can be like, oh my fucking ass, get them signed up. Let's get them on every festival going.
I hope not. We put an insane amount of time and work into it, man. We really did. Like, brutal hours. Because we would a lot of time we'd write out our bass player hours because he's got a nice little home setup, which the rest of us don't quite have. So we'd get to his in the morning and we'd think, yeah, we'll wrap up at like 5 and drive home and stuff because that was a couple of hours away from us. And there was one night that I was still writing at 4 in the morning, just bashing it out, just trying to get stuff done. Like, and like, a lot of people would know some work you do in the early hours in the morning, it's either really good or it's shit, and you're just doing stuff for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? So kind of hit and miss on that front. But yeah, like a scary amount of time went into it, man. And like with the recording process as well, it was very nitpicky, but I think in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, you could always overdo it, can't you? You could get to a point where it's like, oh, that sounds all right, but maybe change this. Oh, I might take that out. I might put that in. So it gets to a point where, especially with the pandemic, obviously, you've got too much time on your hands, so you could almost overdo it.
Listen, yeah, yeah.
But
I've always had the issue with things like guitar tones as well. Coming up with guitar tones, I'll get something that sounds good, and then it's like, oh, I'll make this little tweak, and then suddenly it sounds like shit because do you know what I mean? Instead
yeah.
of leaving it where you're happy, you over tweak it, and you end up making it shit, essentially.
Well, again, album's brutal. It's phenomenal, and I'm excited for you for it to come out. But you've released Cross My Heart, Hope to Die and Anti-Fetish as singles. Have they been well received?
Yeah, really well received, which is obviously great. Cause we were kind of nervous, like releasing music, because it had been so long since Cullen Culture.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously these two tracks in particular are very experimental for us. So we weren't quite sure how they were gonna, go down. But yeah, the response we had is actually it's really nice, and like relieving as well, because
Yeah,
it's kind
that's
of
good.
like, yeah, this risk that we've taken, it seems to have paid off. People seem to fuck with it quite heavily.
No, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. That's good. I'm really pleased to hear it. I'm really pleased to hear it. So what sets this album apart then from Cullen Culture?
I would call it more mature, personally. More mature. You can probably hear we have like I said, a clearer idea of what we were trying to achieve. And I don't know if you know what I mean by this, but like there are just a lot more cooler moments. Do you know what I mean? Like certain moments in tracks, it's just a cool thing. Whether it's just like a crazy pinch harmonic, of course, just some crazy vocal from Meg, like them big moments, or if it's like certain breakdowns or certain riffs and stuff. I think there's just more for people to chew on in that sense.
Yeah,
And
I
and
can't.
it's
Sorry.
it's just heavier, man. Like, don't get me wrong, there are still cleans and stuff. There are still lighter bits, some sad ones, but overall it's just way heavier, just way heavier, and hopefully more headbangy because that's what I wanted anyway.
I I I can imagine being in the studio or whatever, or just writing it in general and coming up with a riff, and you just jamming or whatever, and then you come up with this riff, and you just like I can imagine yourself going like, "Holy fuck, this is the one, this is it, this is just," and then getting to play it live must be insane.
Well, like I can always tell when I've written a riff that I personally think is one of my best because well, like when I track stuff, I'm like super weird, so I record just to a click and just the dry guitar. Don't ask me why. It's just I'm just so used to it. So I can always tell when I'm proud of a riff by, I'll track it and I'll just listen to it back with just a click and dry guitar, and I'm already like, yeah, it sounds huge. Do you know what I mean? Before everything, that's how I know a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. How do you? I don't know if obviously you must all take part in this. How do you decide what the track listing, like what's going first, second, etc., what's going towards the end?
I mean, we it definitely changed a few times.
Yeah,
Because obviously everyone else, everyone's got different ideas and stuff. So we have an original listening, and then we'll kind of each let it flow, and then be like, maybe that doesn't work here. Or it's like, we'll get something that sounds good, but then we're like, oh, these two songs, they're not working quite well together. That's why, like on the album, there are two tracks that they were really weird to go together because one of them was super heavy, one of them was like super depressing. But it was hard to place them anywhere else. So that's why we have an interlude on the album called DMT, which is used to kind of just bridge the two. Do you know what I mean? But I think you wanna. I mean, it's kind of like live. Like people remember the start and the end mainly. I think anyway. So I think you want to, if you were releasing a heavy album, I think you want to start with a bang and end with a bang, which I think we've done quite well.
I absolutely agree with you. Because the three songs I took away were Extremist, like I said with the Static X vibes, Trauma Euphoria, which has the clean part in it, which really threw me because obviously I just wasn't expecting it at all. And Meg's voice, again, insane, incredible. And Nepotism, the last track.
Personal
So,
favorite one, yeah.
oh, really?
It is, yeah. It's one of the first ones I wrote.
Oh, okay.
It's super fun to play, like super fun to jam to. Yeah. But I mean, to be honest, like the three you just named, they're almost my top three, I'd say, of the whole album. And they're very different from each other as well.
Yes, absolutely. Just that. I'm gonna have to go listen to Extremist after this again. I just need that in my face again. It's great. Um, so you've mentioned at the start that your diary's a bit empty at the moment, and obviously you want to be out touring. Are you going to be touring this album?
Yes, at some point.
Or can we not talk about it?
Put it this way, we would leave tomorrow and go play a bunch of shows. It's a complicated situation. It's
Okay.
complicated. But we're trying to get on that for the rest of the year. But the bottom line is, as soon as we can, we will be because we're itching to play, man. Like, we played for the first time a couple of weeks ago at the Great Escape Festival. That was our first show in like 9 months, and it's like having a little taste. Do you know what I mean? Like we played that, and we were even more itching to get out there. So, yeah, as soon as we can, we will.
Did you play Bloodstock last year?
2021, we played Bloodstock. Yeah,
2020. Oh yeah, of course. They were the only festival that ran that year, isn't it?
they were.
Or did,
They were.
yeah, Darren had a pilot, I think, that year. How was that?
Oh, that was great. It was great. First festival I ever went to was Bloodstock in 2017. So it was on my list for one to play, you know. And the crowd as well were insane, like really, really good. The tent was super busy. They were super energetic as well. And that was our first show after pandemic as well. So we kind of needed it. Don't get me wrong, we
Yeah.
were probably shitting it because obviously we hadn't played in a long time. And there's a lot of people, but no, Bloodstock was great. And just even in general, like as a punter, I just had a great time, man. Like there's always a good atmosphere at Bloodstock, I've noticed.
Yeah, it was last year was incredible. Apart from the fact it was an absolute heat dome, it was like 35 degrees every day. I don't know how I survived, to be honest with you, but yeah, it's just there's always a good family feel about it. Such a great festival.
Yeah, definitely. You feel there's a weird sense of community there. Do you know what I mean? You kind of feel like you're mates with everyone, but like
Yeah,
even before you get on the beers, you feel like everyone's just super friendly. You know?
and fair play to everyone that goes out in leather in that heat.
Mate, trust me. Even people in battle jackets, man. It's like how are you wearing denim on such a hot day? Do you know what I mean? It genuinely amazes me, man.
Dedication to the cause. We
Mm.
love it. You've got Tech Fest and Misery Loves Company festivals coming up. Are you excited for those? I take it you are.
Very excited, especially Tech Fest. It's going to be our fourth time at Tech Fest. Every year, it's fucking amazing. Like we love Tech Fest. We love Simon Goddard who puts it on. Garrod even. Um, Again, like with Bloodstock, there's always such a good atmosphere at Tech Fest because it's so much smaller that it's just intensified. Do you know what I mean? But we're really looking forward to our set. We've been rehearsing it recently, sounding tight. We got some cool stuff up our sleeve, and it's going to be cool to play new songs live as well. You know,
Yeah, I bet.
we got looking at the set list now, um, like 5 songs that have yet to be played live. Mm. Gonna be
People are
sweaty.
been for a fucking treat. Yeah, I need to get down and see you guys. I'm at Bloodstock this year. I'm hoping to go to Misery Loves Company because it's not too far from me. So Yeah, hopefully I'll catch you guys there. But if not, I'll definitely, whenever you can get your tour announced, I'll definitely be coming 100%. Last question before I let you get out of here. Music videos. Now, obviously, these were huge back in the day, back in the early 2000s with all the Kerangs and Scuzzers and whatnot. Not so much now, I don't think. I know YouTube's obviously a big thing, but production of them, making them, etc. Love them or hate them?
Yeah, there's quite a strong hatred, I'd say, to be honest. Yeah,
Okay.
well, the last one we done, Hope to Die, that was the best shoot me and Willem have ever done because I mean there was no performance, which is great.
Yeah.
And all we had to do, we had to stand there for like 30 seconds, and then we had to lay on the floor for an additional 30 seconds, and then the rest of the day we were just kind of hanging about. But any video where there's performance, it's just grueling, man. It's just boring, to be honest, because it's I struggle to force the energy when there's no crowd in front of me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to go crazy when there's just like 5 people in front of you and cameras and stuff. Yeah, don't enjoy it, but I like seeing the final product. That part's
Yes.
fun. It's just shooting them that isn't.
I mean, with music videos, obviously, so many out there. It must be hard to come up with concepts and story because a lot of people do lyric videos now, don't they? Or performance videos, like you said. So must coming up with a concept, imagine, is quite difficult, or does someone does that for you?
We're normally pretty good with that, to be honest. A lot of the ideas come from Meg, because obviously she's got some ideas streaming from the lyrics of the song. You know, like you can kind of implicate into videos. So concept wise, it's normally okay. Like outfits and stuff is what we struggle with a lot of the time. Like,
Okay.
you know, wearing and stuff. Like, I mean, it's always a nightmare. Obviously, making sure we all look like consecutive and stuff. But yeah, concept wise, it's normally Meg. Meg's got a lot of good ideas. Me and Willem usually have like fuck all ideas. Uh, as much as we try. But yeah, a lot of it comes from Meg mind, especially the last two that we done.
Incredible, man. Jay, this has been absolutely amazing, man. It's been great to meet you and chat to you and stuff. Negative Energy out 23rd of June. Make sure you're getting on that. Download it, buy it, stream it, whatever you can do. Just get it in your face and get it in your ears. It's incredible.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website www.therazorsedge.rocks.